Welcome to the love. Bienvenidos to Love Blog. Riley is here. No Elvis, thank you. You're here. Cecilio's walking in. Very, very good guy.
One of the best.
He's the Jefe, El Jefe. These are our Cuban friends. Lorena is here. We're in Cuba. We're in Cuba for a good reason. Look us up. First Things Foundation. We want to sell you something. Why not? And it's a very beautiful trip here, inexpensive. Every penny that you give to go on your trip, in other words, you're just paying for a trip. Any money that we make goes directly to our work with the poor, all over the place, home and abroad. Please look us up and come to Cuba. That's why we're here. You will meet Cecilio when you come, God willing. Today I want to talk about something difficult. It stems from the last conversation we had about love, which was patriotism. Patriotism was the notion you love, I think it's about father or the patriarch or the matriarch, the people that gave you life. Patriotism is a love of something bigger than yourself. I wonder if that leads, interestingly enough, to the conversation about loving yourself. So in our intro, in the teaser that we did, go check it out, the first video we did, there was a teaser and I said, I don't know if you can love yourself. This is the beginning of a series of vlogs on this notion of self-esteem. I'm a teacher, 18 years in the classroom, New York, Florida, all over the place, Africa. Self-esteem is a choice that the American educational system is making, right? I don't really think it's a choice that's born out of Dewey and the early educationists, philosophers, but it's a choice that's been made since the 1970s. And the choice is to teach kids to love themselves. So no Elvis, I think I want to ask the question, can you love yourself? Here's what I mean. Is love of self simply another word for pride? And if pride, loving oneself, is in fact love, what's it have to do with the other? So can I have pride and still love the other? It's an interesting idea, and I want to say no. That's what I'm saying. To your generation, Riley. And I'm going to use somebody who's old, okay? This is old time idea right here. I want to use the philosopher properly. His name is Maximus the Confessor. And Maximus is going to argue something that I want to argue as well, but he's arguing in the 600s, 7th century. He argues this, that the beginning of love is the destruction of self-love, that you cannot actually truly love until you destroy love for yourself. Riley, how do you think about that so far?
Interesting.
It's interesting. It's probably the opposite of the way you were taught in high school, and definitely the opposite of the way most of us are taught. He says, when you destroy love of yourself, then what happens is you become deeply grateful for everything else. So for example, when I don't believe my good ideas led to my money, and instead I say the birth of me by my mother, who was born by her mother, led to my ability to find money, or to find a car, or to get a trip to Cuba. In other words, it was my mother's mother who gave my mother life, who gave me life. Thank goodness, thank God to my mother, thank God I have a car. When you don't attribute things to yourself, Railito, you're able to give thanks to everything else, and then you are able to love. I love this. I love this. The other idea is that I, myself, gave birth to my ability to get that money for my car. And that is a lie. It's just fundamentally a lie. Because I did not make my own skin. I did not make my own mind. I did not make my own tongue, my hands. Everything came from somewhere else. Including the car itself was made by someone else. I did essentially nothing on my own, but put all that I've been given in place. I took my skin and put it in place, right? I went to where the car is being sold, where he made it, and I put myself in place. So yes, I do move myself in a world made up of physical realities, but it's only because I was there and I met others that I was able to get what I wanted. So here's what Maximus says, and I love this. When one finds true love, in other words, when one gives thanks to all others, including God, he is a God-fearing person, He says that love levels off and makes equal all inequality. So now when I look at someone without a car, I don't think I have a car, he doesn't have a car. I think very differently of him. My inequality has changed. I'm no longer above him because of what I've done. I've only been blessed and therefore must give to him. Any difference in inclination, it binds me, it takes me, and it makes me praiseworthy. It makes me give thanks when I have true love. And so it's by giving thanks that I am drawn to my neighbor as an equal. Now what happens is, in seeing Cecilio's food as a gift, I am drawn to him as an equal, actually even drawn to him as something bigger and better than I am. And now I'm getting to the core of what I love, and he says, and now the neighbor is honored as much or more than myself, and that makes me willing and eager to do everything for him. And when I do everything for him, he is eager to do everything for me, and we have true love. True love starts with denial of self-love. Self-esteem education teaches the opposite. And I wonder if it makes it harder for us to love. Riley, what do you think?
I want to argue with you on it, but I don't know if we have
Argue
time.
the 2 minutes.
Okay, let me ask you something. How is self-esteem different from self-worth? And do you think self-worth is not good?
Good question. Self-worth, if it's the notion that self-worth comes from what I do in the world, then you have to agree, Riley, that people who don't do much aren't worth much. So you don't think that it comes from what I do in the world, right?
I think it comes from what you think about yourself.
The people who think the most about themselves, the people who have the highest self-esteem ratings, are prisoners. They can't cite the study.
We'll put
But
it in.
prisoners, especially prisoners in maximum security prisons, have very high self-esteem. They think highly of themselves. That's one reason Dostoevsky, Raskolnikov thinks the most of himself. That's why he believes he can kill the poor woman, Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment, because she has no self-worth, because she has nothing and she's greedy and she's nasty. So because he thinks a great deal of himself, he's able to kill. Where does self-worth come from for you?
As in, where does my own self-worth come from?
Yeah, why do you value yourself?
So I'm kind of the intersection of other people's thoughts about myself. They think those things because of who I am, the way I act, the way I behave, or things I have done. And so that is born out of...
Actions.
Yeah.
Riley did a great thing, because as a young man, what, 24? As an old man, and like really old, working on ancient stuff here, there is definitely a disunity. Where one is finding value in what you do, the other is finding value right in your essence. The essence is that which you've been given. It has nothing to do or very little to do with what you do that gives value. It's a debate. But I just want to end by saying Maximus says that when we are able to destroy self-love, we're able to begin love of others, which I think is something good to think about. Maybe wrong, maybe right. Love Log. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Love Log.